Hello there, and a huge warm welcome to Carnation Crafts. We are doing a special recorded show for you from Pampered Pooches. This is an extension from Everyone's Best Friend, and it is ridiculously cute. Now, lots of you have already bought this. I was poorly when it first came out, so I couldn't give you any demonstrations. So we're here today to give you a couple of demos, show you what's in the pack. And for anybody else who wants to buy it, you have now got the golden opportunity. You'll find it over on the Carnation Crafts website, which is www.carnationcrafts.co.uk. It's under the number 231114231114. That's the Pampered Pooches collection. It's got a show price of £34.99. When that does revert back to its proper cost, it will be $39.99. £2.95 UK P&P. And if you go to the Carnation Crafts website, you will also find your artwork there, which Carnation call vignettes, and that's free for you to use. So anything you see today that is a coloured image, that's free on the Carnation Crafts website. Just go to downloads and then free downloads, type in Pampered Pooches. All the artwork for this will show on the website. They're PDFs that you put into your basket, check out for free with those, and then you download them to your computer, open them up and print, and preferably if you can on pro-print paper. It will make all the difference. Pop your die on top, pop it through your machine, and you will be cooking with gas. These are just incredible. I loved Everybody's Best Friend, and I really love Pampered Pooches because it just takes us that little bit further with our crafting, and it's just super, super cute. Now, what we've got here are your extra set of pooches, and they are absolutely gorgeous. So you've got your terrier, you've got your bulldog, all your various things going through, and your little spaniels. So these are your extra dies that you'll receive today in that show price of $34.99. It's not all you'll be receiving because we've got extra colorways and there is another die set. But one of the things that Nick does and has done since he started Carnation Crafts is every now and again he puts a little Easter egg in his collections, little things that we can go looking for, and they're usually hidden somewhere. Some are more obvious than others. And one of the things he does are little love hearts, and if we can just look at his chest, we found the little Easter egg. There's lots of them that run through Nick's collections, and it's really good fun to go and look for them. But there he is with the little love heart on his chest. How cute is that? It's so sweet. So you've got all of these running through. Now, they didn't just give us these. They also gave us an extra colorway. So a huge thank you to Carnation for going to that step for us. But the extra colorway that we've got, they're all sitting here. So you can see these ones. They're all sitting there. So we've got the wee bulldogs down here, again, with those little love heart chests. And you've got your spaniels. I would like to say I know the name of all of these, but I don't. So I'm not going to pretend that I do. But they are super, super cute, including those gorgeous corgis. These ones are extra artwork for Everyone's Best Friend, which was released a few months ago. So if you bought Everyone's Best Friend, you've now got extra colorways for them as well. And that's because lots of you were asking us for them and saying, well, you know, I've got a husky in these colors, or I've got a Labrador in these colors, or a Spaniel, etc. So Nick has given us some extra colorways. So not only are we getting the die with the artwork for what we're buying today, but we also get extra colorways for all the other ones as well. Sorry, Everyone's Best Friend. But it does not stop there, Miss Tiz Taz. On top of that, we also have your accessory pack, which is just ridiculously cute, isn't it? So Nick has factored in the fact that some of those dogs that he's given us the dies for and the artwork for, there's the Chihuahua and things like that in Everyone's Best Friend. Some of them are just wee little dinky dogs, so they need just a small little stick or a smaller bone. There are other, obviously, much bigger dogs, and in those ones we get the big sticks, we also get the big bone. So you can size it as is appropriate. But then we get some gorgeous things. Bows, which could go around the necks of the big dogs, and they could sit on the heads of the little dogs. Little glasses, if we want to really dress them up and make them super fancy and smart. Jumpers and tops for the dogs, and shirts for the dogs, so we can, you know, really, really dress them up. Collars, and if you were canny with a little marker pen, you could essentially put a little initial in there, couldn't you, for the name of the dog for the person we're sending it to, so it becomes super personalised to the recipient. You've got a little kerchief. You like to put a kerchief on Eddie, don't you, Miss Tiz Taz?
I put whatever I can on him. Whether he lets me is another matter.
Eddie is a cat, and so Eddie gets dressed up lots of times. We've even got a little dicky bow look. It's just super, super cute. But I love the whole idea of being able to dress those dogs in any way we choose. It's just very sweet, isn't it? It's a really lovely thing to have, and lots of ways to use that here. We're going to do a couple of demonstrations for you today. I won't keep you too long, but we'll get at least 2 demonstrations done for you so you can see some of these being used. But I do want to go through some finished samples for you that the DT team have carefully and very lovingly made for us. And they're gorgeous. They really are beautiful, beautiful ideas of where we can go. So you've got all the inspiration and all the care and love that's been put into these. They deserve to be shown. So from the lovely Sue Dalrymple, look at these. Just ridiculously cute. Now, obviously, when we're using a Crafter Select, the idea is that you use them in conjunction with other collections that you've previously bought. And that's absolutely what we're doing. That is a good day for that dog, right? That's a feast and a half. So we've got all of the bones sitting down there, and then obviously the spaniel, but we bring them in and we incorporate them with previous collections and previous dyes that we've got, so they all work together. And this is what we always say about Carnation: everything works together. And this is a really true and responsive way of using them when we're using the Crafters Select. Pam Simpson here. Yuck. You've got the chair there from Comfort of Home and the window from Comfort of Home. You've got Christmas elements there going through, and you've also obviously got the wee dogs at the bottom. You've got the little pizza, which is working as a party hat. I think it's actually probably a party hat. I thought it was a little chew toy of a pizza. I think it's a party hat, Miss Taz, or do you think it could be either?
I thought it was a pizza.
Did you think it was a pizza as well? I think it's actually meant to be a party hat.
Both.
Well, the problem is, of course, is that Mr. Cornelius, my beautiful beast of a dog, does actually have a chew toy of a pizza. So I think my brain went A to B. But I think it is actually a party hat. Look how ridiculously cute that is. I absolutely love that. And that chair, I've always loved that chair from Comfort of Home. I'm always attracted to using it. Vera Bow here coming in with something that's a little more clean with those teardrop and sweep nested dies. Look. We can dress them up to the 9s. We can pare it back. You can do whichever you wish. But a clever, clever use here of those sticks at the bottom for your grounding device, and then adding in those bones, using that bow for the neckline, the little jumper underneath, and then dressing up with glasses. And, you know, the little neckerchiefs being used as ear hats there. Just gorgeous, right? And again, get those sentiments out. Looking fabulous. We've got so many great sentiments from Carnation, and they fit with so many different things that we're doing. So this is a really great way of using them. Gorgeous use of perfect papers as well to just draw it all together, and it just works, doesn't it? It looks absolutely brilliant. Now, depending on when Carnation actually air this, I don't know if it will be before Christmas or after. But either way, you've got them coming in whichever way you want it. So you've got this gorgeous Merry Christmas sitting there. You've got the use of the presents behind. I love the use of the perfect papers here from Sue. They really work, don't they, in that Christmas feel. And this is why perfect papers are so important when we buy them with collections, because they really do come in useful for Crafters Selects and for special edition vignettes, because we get to use them on a different type of card making. But I think that's just a joyous card, isn't it? Merry Christmas. And I love, love, love the way his little antlers sit forward and then behind on one ear. I just think it's cute, super cute to have it slightly lopsided there. Then we have got this gorgeous piece from Pam. Let me just get that open so I can show you it in full. Look at that. Clever use of those bricks, clever use of grounding out those dogs on the step and on the bricks. Party time on Garden Close. All of the use of those beautiful roses, and the dogs just look at home, don't they? That outdoor feel for the dogs. All of them dressed up there with their shirts, their collars and their party hats. It's very, very sweet. Little use of the, you know, the roses hidden there to that side in the garden, just to bring it all together to give you that gorgeous visual, and then a really nice use of white space. Excuse me, I do apologise. Really, really sweet, isn't it? Absolutely gorgeous. Fiona here drawing us in on those magical adventures. Really sweet. Look at that. That use of the bridge is brilliant, but I love the stick. I love those outfits. Everything about these dogs is sweet. It's just cute. Really, really love it. I love the way the DT team are clever with their makes. If you want to just use something that is more simple, the use of the heart there with the bucket. I think that bucket, and is that from Loving Hands, or am I going the wrong way with that? It reminds me of. And then you've got the dog bone sitting at the bottom. That gorgeous ribbon in the dog's hair here is just cute, isn't it? Really, really sweet. These are pampered pooches, aren't they? These are totally pampered. It's your day. I don't know anybody really who wouldn't love a card with a pet on it. There's something about them, and especially when they own that pet, because it just draws us in, doesn't it? It's you're not throwing these cards away. Let's put it that way. You receive this card. If it's got a picture of an animal that's the same as your pet, of course you're keeping those cards. They're just delightful to have. It makes you feel super special. Yes, Miss Taz?
The champagne glass, the
Yeah.
champagne bottle and the wine bucket are from A Little Bit Fancy.
Ah, there you go, a little bit fancy. Really sweet. And I love the ice cubes as well, because we can celebrate all of the days. I love this one as well. You made it. This is slightly different and I really like it. That's from Fiona Rabbit. You made it. A little love heart on his chest. Super cute. And that's obviously been sculpted out with a ball tool, so you get the extra dimension on the body and it makes the heart pop a little bit more as well, doesn't it? Really gorgeous. You've got the Traveller's Rest globe there as well. Lots of dies for you to use in your collections. Don't forget to get them all out and play, because it just brings everything together. Love this one, Miss Taz. You'll like this one. Are you ready? Fiona Rabbit. How cute is that? Now relax, again from Comfort of Home. Just gorgeous. Teardrop and sweep. Clever, clever use of the teardrop and sweep there. Really sweet. Yes, Miss Taz?
Pampered with a capital P.
That is pampered with the ultimate capital P, isn't it? Very, very regal. Love it so much. It would be cute as well with the, obviously the flag at the back. It would be cute with a British Bulldog, wouldn't it? Just very, very sweet, iconic cards. Another Christmas card here, which is gorgeous from Fiona. Very, very simple. Lovely card, isn't it? Use of Miri card in there. Just gives it a glow. It's a super nice Christmas card, is that, isn't it? Really, really stunning. And that's the sort of thing. Get that for Christmas. It's so different to anything else we buy. And I love that about it, but that dog is beyond cute. And you can see how this collection then lends itself, can't you? Because if you want to make Christmas cards all along this theme, pretty much everyone we know with a dog you could make that for, because we've pretty much covered most breeds now. Obviously, we did work out, I can't remember how many Nick said. He did look up how many breeds of dog there are, and they're thousands. So we couldn't do them all, but we did use the most sort of owned in the UK, certainly. They're all having a wonderful time. They've got their dog bowls there, they've got the party hats, they've got the bones, everything coming through. The little kerchief used again on those ears, and that little headband there with the antlers. Very, very sweet. And that's a nice aperture design, isn't it? It just brings it all together. And I think those are the trees from Wonderful World. Lots of things all drawn in. Get all of those dies out. You're about to have the best. I love the dog balls at the bottom. It's a little bit like Corny's ball. And again, gorgeous use, Vera, of apertures. How cute is that? I love the aperture up here for the sentiment as well. From our family to yours. Beautiful, beautiful sets. So you've got all the dogs there looking very excited. They've got the Christmas Santa hats on, and then you've got your bones and the snow at the bottom, bringing it all together. And I love the little use of white on white snowflakes. Aren't they cute? Really, really sweet. Or snowballs almost, aren't they? A couple more to show you, and then we'll get to a couple of demos for you. Oh, Miss Taz. Afternoon tea.
That's a party I want to be at.
That's a party we both want to be at. Dogs and food. We'd be up as Larry. Look at that. She's so pretty. Yeah, up there she is with her little bow on her head. There she is. Isn't she cute? Now, I think some other people have used that as pizza as well, Miss Taz, so I think we're okay.
Well, it doubles up.
Doubles up. It can be either way, can't it? All with their shirts and jumpers on. They're very smart going to that party, aren't they? That is, he's got his dicky bow on. Can you see his dicky bow at the side? Look.
The dog with the glasses looks like it's going to tell me a very profound story.
Well, he almost looks like Grandad Dog, doesn't he? Very, very cute. And again, your balloons there, which I think are from Rural Charm, you've got all of these ideas that you can bring through. So please, please, please ferret in those collections. Get your nested dies out. That's your crystalline nested. Get them out and play with the different ways we can do it. I love, love, love the DL shape for that card. It's really, really nice to see. Then from there, we've got one more Christmas card for you here. Beautifully done by Vera. Because sometimes simplicity says it all, doesn't it? The use of the Christmas tree, the season's greeting, sentiment, the crystalline card shapes for the nested, which lend themselves to Christmas so well anyway. I know they weren't purposefully designed for that. It gives it that icicle feel, doesn't it? And then there's a little bit of snow at the bottom. Really simple card, but very effective, and a lovely Christmas card. It really is very sweet. So with the simple designs, we can make extraordinary things. Two more to show you. I love this for a country day. So glad you are my friend. Lots of elements there used from Rural Charm. Very, very gorgeous card. Now we're saying about those little Easter eggs, and when Nick was creating this, he even did the little walking man on the signpost, which I always thought was just incredible. And I love Rural Charm so much with those hill backgrounds. It really is an extraordinary collection, Rural Charm. And then you've got the wee dog with his stick there, so it just brings it together, because it is countrified, isn't it? And I love that, this idea of summer and country. And I miss the summer. I'm very much a summer girl, and I miss those warm days and those light nights. So it's nice to see these cards because they're evocative of that, and it gives you that sense of season. Now, I've saved this one for last because it made me smile. To a special couple. Look, she's got a veil on. So we can really dress them up. The simple, beautiful florals from Carnation. I love the baby blue colour with those pinks from those florals. It's gorgeous, isn't it? And we talked to you a lot about Carnation and their use of colour and colour tone. Those florals were never designed to go particularly with this collection, but can you see how they absolutely match with the hair bow? And that's because Carnation are very clever at picking out their hues in their colours. So everything works together, and it's meant to be that way. It's meant that you can play in much larger ways with much more value for the things that you get. And that's important to us as crafters. So that's your finished samples for Pampered Pooches. That was not an easy sentence. So you'll find those over on the Carnation Crafts website on the number 231114. And that's 23114 Pampered Pooches collection. Show price of $34.99. That will go up to $39.99, and your UK P&P is $2.95. Again, go and get your free artwork from there. So everything you've seen as far as the dogs is concerned, the accessories, that's all your free artwork. So we're going to have a quick look at demo for you here. I'll do you two cards just so you can see what we've got going on, and then we will, well, it depends when this goes out, Miss Taz, but some people might be munching on Christmas feasts.
It should be after Christmas.
So some people might have taken down their tree by now. Some people might keep it up all year. We don't know the things.
Still comment what your favourite, well, what did you get for Christmas?
What did you, yes, still comment. What did you get for Christmas? Because we will of course see it. Ooh, Miss Taz, what crafty things? What do you want for Christmas, Miss Taz? And have a house. Have you been a good enough girl to get a house?
I've been good enough to get 3 houses. I can see them.
Can't get away with much in here. So we're going to have a look at the collection. This is the Banded Heart from Eternal Grace. So I'm using the base card for this. Now it's a super, super useful card base because we can use it in loads of different ways. I can have it seated that way, and where those score lines is, I can fold it back on itself if I so chose, keep that slightly bent, and it will hold itself up at the rear, so to speak, so that when you're looking at it face on, you can use it that way. If it feels more comfortable for you, you can kick those legs forward and have it seated that way with something on here. Or if you so choose, you can glue those two pieces together, keep it as an L shape, and put whatever artwork you want on either side. It depends how you want to play really, and it depends what you're doing with it. Because I want mine to sort of sit flat, but I still need my legs there, I'm just going to lay it out as it is for now. And I'm going to use some wet glue for my card base, if you like, for the heart, because I'm going to need it. What I'm going to be very careful to do is not touch these score lines, because either way, whether it folds forward or back, I need that to support the work that I'm doing. So I'm just going to get some wet glue there. I've got my trusty applicator here, and I've got my silicone gel glue all ready for my crafting adventures ahead. So I've got my love heart here. This is my base, and I'm going to base everything out on here, white on white. If I'm careful, I'm not going to restrict myself as far as those legs are concerned, either back or forward, and that's what I'm aiming to do. It just means that I can control the way the card sits. If the weight is too heavy, I'm going to need those legs to kick forward, but if the weight is not particularly too heavy, it can be dispersed by kicking them back. It doesn't matter, but I can make those choices so long as I miss that hinge. Excuse me, Miss Taz. Little bits of adhesive. Now I'm going to put some on the stand, just up to the points that I need it. Place this down and even, and that will keep it straight and keep it where I want it. So I've got my heart based down there with my legs free. Not my actual legs, you understand. Or is it? My banded heart. So I've put some foam tape on here. I've got a good 5mm chunk on there. You can see it's quite high, and that's because I want the shadows to be in, but also because I want to utilize the central heart for this as well. So taking my foam tape off, and I am going to take my foam tape off all 4 pieces. Often I'll only do it on some, but I don't want the sides bending in. So I'm going to make sure I secure it all the way around. These are in little hidden spots that Nick puts on the dies for us, so we can still raise them up and have that beautiful shadow play. Now the reason I'm using white and sticking with white below is because I want to utilize my central space. I love that banded heart so much. It's such a gorgeous die, isn't it? Just beautiful. All I can think when I see that is, how am I going to build? What am I going to do with it? Where is it going to go? Now I've got the little central one sitting here, and I'm going to stick that one down so the one on the front stands up. But I very much want that to be flat because I'm going to work on top of it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is utilize my wet glue, and I need to put it in more places this time because I'm sticking everything down. So I need to know that around this edge piece there is a space for adhesion every which way but loose. That will come in there and there to centralise it, just lining up the top corner here with the top corners in the mid heart, and then I can commit that stick down. So now I've got the shadow play from the top, and I've got that very vivid place in the centre because the white on white is doing its job. Where it's coming through on here, it pops very much with that colour, and then it emphasises it with the shadow around the edge. So we've got that dimension visually already without actually having to work very hard to get it. And I likes them apples, Miss Taz. I likes them apples a lot. Right, from here I'm going to start working with the elements that I've got. So I've got feathers and I've got florals. I've also got my little dog, and I'm going to put him here. Now when I've got a piece and I'm working on composition, I can work out where I want to go by the size of the piece in the middle and how I want that to be. Where do I want it to go? So the composition pieces that I'm working with, it's just a case of me trying to build that up in a way that makes sense to me. So because I'm going to layer these side elements up in a way that makes sense, I'm going to need to have my pieces where I can see them so I can work them out. I know I want my dog to be central. I know how I want him to be the star of my show. So he is going to sit there, and that shadow play that comes around the banded heart on the outside is going to look like we're looking straight into him. So that shadow play is going to help me a little bit, but I want to also make something more of the outside, so we frame him in even more, and that's where the feathers are going to come in. So I'm going to start to build up I'm keeping the stems long, and I will tell you why in a second. But I want to just create a round on these, so I can use this. Now with the joyful snippability of Carnation, what I can do here is snip that stem away. That allows me to shape differently. That stem visually was going to get in my way and impact me because it's going to stick out, isn't it, at an angle. So by just snipping it off, I can make this rounder, I can make it longer, and I can work with it in a different way. So the first thing I can do now that I'm now that I'm happy with where that is pin. So I've got the two together, and I can now work with that feather in a way that pleases me. So I'm going to place that down. You can see that you can't really see the contrast of that too much yet. I'm going to have to do something about that to make it boom more, and I'm fine with that. Same thing again, snipping away at what we don't need, utilising the stem on this feather and using the reverse side of that mirrored vignette so that I can place in, and that looks about right to me. Little bit of adhesion and push, and I've got those two sitting there. So I'm starting to build. I can start to see where I want to be. Now I want to make more of those, and I'm using those just as a background piece. I don't want them to be the center of the show, of course. So I can place my bones on top of them, and they'll just give me a feathered edge, excuse the pun, but literally a feathered edge. So that's where they're going to sit roughly. I'm going to use those bones again as a little piece. If you want to make more of the bones, feel free to just protrude them from the edge of that heart. Okay, and that will give it more, you know, width in the heart as well, but it will also make them stand out stronger. I don't want them sticking off the edge of my card. I'm quite happy with them being where they are. So the first thing I'm going to do is commit these feathers down. I don't want to put glue on the back of the feathers. I need to do the glue here because if I can put it on the back of the feathers, I'm not going to guarantee that it's not going to hit that. And if it hits that, it's going to push that banded heart down, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm just going to place them with that small amount of adhesion. Remember, I can come in at the bottom and I can stick more if I need to at the bottom here. If you're posting, obviously, that's probably what I would absolutely do, but it's up to you which way you choose to go. But again, adhesion on the banded heart, just a little bit there. Make sure that they are about even there. That should make them even on my outside roughly. Just pin and commit. Now I've got the two bones, but I want to take them slightly higher. So I'm going to put them, I can utilise that stem and that bone to gauge the, you know, the height that I need them to be. Not shaping them, just putting them down. Now my pooch, I will definitely be shaping. So I'm just going to place these about here. Same again, to the side. Sticking with that so that I can see my visual cue. So I'm about even. I'm not too worried, but I'm about even. I don't want to get, you know, obsessive. Now I've got two florals here, and all I'm doing here is adding colour. We are adding a pop of colour. I want these to cup inwards as opposed to outwards. It doesn't matter either way, whatever your preference is. For me, I want them to cup inwards, and I'm going to find a ball tool that is an appropriate size for the florals that I am shaping. Working from the outside edge, I'm just going to spiral in, okay? So I'm just going to go from that outside point, bring it round, all the way through. Same again. I want to keep that stem. Now I could trim that stem if it was not working for me, but I do want that pop of green because a lot of the stuff on the card is very neutral white colour. So I want that pop of colour, and I'm actually sort of searching out that pop of colour with these florals. So one on either side just below that bone, and that's going to give me this really gorgeous pop, isn't it? And that's what we're looking for. Now actually I might go in with a little bit of silicone gel glue here just to place it through. Bit of runaway silicone gel glue. I can do that because I'm placing it on the bones and feathers, so it's not going to sort of look too gummy. I'm not worried about the stems because I'm going to stick them down anyway in a minute because I need to cover my workings. I don't like having open workings. It doesn't please me. Cross those over so I can just place through. I'm happy so far. Let's cover these workings. I'm going to take the little love heart down here, so I'm mirroring the heart idea but bringing it forward. So I've covered my workings and I've brought that through and I've given him a platform. So he's now sitting happy. Excuse me. I'm going to take this little paw print, and this one is from Everyone's Best Friend. Place his little paw print at the front. Super cute. And then I'm going to frame out the dog and the bow. The bow choices. What I'm going to say to you about the bow is you choose what you're going to do, but I'm going to take an appropriate size ball tool. I'm going to turn it over first, and I'm just going to work with this little bit at the side of this. First of all, side again, and then do the round on that side, and then I'm just going to billow out. So following those shade lines, just billow out the tails of the ribbon or the bow. Then I'm going to turn it over, shape it round so it works that way, and everything should shape beautifully from the other side. All I'm going to do at this point is just take a little bit there so you get that extra rotund, and that's just going to make my life a little easier. Shaping that out. And then this little chap, isn't he just delightful? Now the first thing I'm going to do is take note of his love heart. So the first thing that I want to do is take my small ball tool, which I've got here. The smallest one will work for me in a beautiful way. I can see the love hearts. The first thing I'm going to do is just push that a little bit through. I've got the cut lines. That's going to give me a little bit of a sort of a bulbous twist on that heart, but I don't want that size ball tool for the rest of the dog. It's too small, so I'm going to go to a larger one and work on his shoulders, either side, work around his neck, his schnoz, and then his forehead. And that's enough shape for him, really. Don't need to go too far. Take his neckline, pull him forward so that he's not in a figure of 8. And his little love heart on his chest should protrude quite proudly there. You see? So we just make that little bit more of it. I'm going to take my silicone gel glue, place that here. Pop him down so he's raised and he's got that little shadow beneath him. Super, super sweet. And then I'm going to take his bow. And just stick that at the top. Super cute, right? Clean lines. We likes them clean lines. From there, as I said, I can choose as to whether to kick those legs forward or back to hold that card straight. And I've got something very, very sweet. Now, if you don't want to have those legs on show, you just want the support from the stand, if your card's not too heavy, you'll absolutely get away with just placing them at the back. If it starts to fall forward, as mine is doing there, because remember, I've just spaced him out, so I've got all of that weight on it, they should be able to stand by sitting sort of feather forward. It depends how you're going to do it. Now, because I've got so much weight on mine at the bottom, it is going to start pulling it forward. So my choices are definitely that it sits forward because the weight will pull back. So we're almost sort of cantilevering that card in some way. But how delicious is that? Just cute, isn't it? Really nice, easy card making, but really, really effective. It's a clean looking card. It has a little pop of colour, and he's just a delightful showstopper in the middle because he's beautiful. I don't need to do much to him. He's already stunning, isn't he? And that's the joy with Carnation artwork. So this is the Pampered Pooches 231114 on the Carnation Crafts website, which is www.carnationcrafts.co.uk. You've got a show price today of $34.99, $2.95 UKP and P. You'll find your artwork on the Carnation Crafts website as well, and that's free for you to download. Go to downloads and then free downloads. Search Pampered Pooches and it will all show up for you. Right, let's get another demo for you done. And then I will leave you all in peace with your mince pies and your pickled onions, which seem to be a thing at Christmas. Or maybe just in my mother's house, I'm not sure. Right, I've scored that at 1/2 inch. I've got a little square card here. I'm just going to push that back towards myself. Shuffle the two together, place them down, and push to get my card a base. And so now I've got this nice clean canvas to work upon. From there, I've got the blue, okay? So I'm bringing in that nice soft tone. Now in this one, I'm going to be working with the collection that was called Coastal Currents, because most dogs love the beach, except for mine, who's scared of sand, but you can't have it all. So I've got this beautiful backing paper from Coastal Currents, which I love very, very much. And I'm going to utilise that because I just think it's super pretty. Now I've got my foam tape facing away it shouldn't be, so I'm going to do it this way to create these tabs. There and there. That should allow this to go on the correct way. So just placing through, push and pull. And that gives me my very smart card base. From there, I've got this gorgeous, gorgeous diamond with that seascape. Isn't that gorgeous? Really pretty already. It just comes together, doesn't it? I need to make sure that that diamond doesn't sit any further down than the actual card base, because if it does, I'm not going to be able to stand the card up. So I'm going to remove that foam tape. From there, base that down onto your multimedia mat where possible, and that way you know that you're not going to go much further below that line, because that's really what we want to avoid. So I can utilise that to get that straight and to get that gorgeous coastal scene coming through. I really love this one. I've always loved Hazy Horizons. I just think it's a really, really strong collection, and it is so pretty. It really, really comes together. Just beautiful, isn't it? Really, really pretty. So, well, if you remember from this collection, we have got sticks for the dogs, and then we have got all of those gorgeous pieces that create our Hazy Horizons. So I'm going to place this in here. So I've got my rocks, you see? Okay, and that's going to give me that seascape. So I just want to work out where they're going to be. Now, whichever way I do it, it doesn't matter so long as I ground it. What I need to do is make sure that that point is covered. And that's going to give me out a natural grounding device. And it's just going to sit further forward. So I can keep that and just place it in. I don't really need to shape it. I can if I want to just add a bit of dimension, but I'm okay with it as it is really. I'll just wiggle and a jiggle. I don't want it to be too protruding, but I am going to use silicone gel glue. That's going to give me a bit of wiggle room as I'm working. It's always my best friend for that. Placing on, just making sure that's covered and seated. It's so clever, isn't it? It's just so clever. Already we get that impact. Love, love, love this collection. So I've got some florals here that I can use, but I want to put some sand in this image as well, and I've got some pieces that I can use. I'm going to use wet glue for these, and I'm just going to bring them out from below that rock. Little hint of it there, not much, but a little hint. Make sure I cover my wet glue. And just make sure it doesn't protrude from the bottom of those rocks. A little bit more here. Building up that scene. I think I would feel happier if that was a bit lower. That's better. That Gives me a visual I am happy with. And then from here, we're just going to put a bit more, but further in, so it's stepped inwards. And the reason being is I want the idea that it's sort of, you know, little sand dunes. I'm going to tuck that edge in, just overlap it. So you've got that little element there, okay? Got this idea of this coast coming round. And it's just vibrant, isn't it? And lovely. Now, look at this cheeky chap. What's he going to be doing? So we've got the little mouse. Go around his tummy and his pants with the ball tool. Just shaping his little face and his neck. Take it and pull it so that you don't get your figure of 8 on your pieces. And he's going to be standing uponst the rocks, Miss Taz. He's uponst the rocks. He's very, very busy enjoying himself. And he's going to be shaking out a towel. Now, this is effectively a rubber ring when it was first done, but I love it as him shaking out a towel as well. I just think there's something cute about that. Like, he's very, very busy. Now, the reason that I'm going to be doing that is because I'm going to put the dog underneath it. So it's going to look like he's very busy protecting the dog with some shade. So I just want that to be on the edge of his hand, so it makes sense. Just here, so it looks like he's got hold of it with his little paw, and it's just super cute, isn't it? Now, I've got 2 sticks here, and they're 2 long sticks because the dog is having the time of his life at the beach. So I'm just going to poke those through behind those rocks and lean them, and it'll just give me that little edge on the card because I'm working very heavily over this side at the minute. So I'm just balancing things out just as a visual cue, nothing more than that really, but also because it's super sweet for that dog. It makes sense for him to have his sticks. He's been very busy collecting on the beach. And now he's going to be having a little rest in the sand. I'm putting these at the back because if I want to put the dog at the front, these will just seat behind him as if they're disappearing off into the distance a little bit. Overlap them. So they're leaning, okay? So we're starting to build up those visuals. Don't like this piece because I like to cover my work, so I don't want that sitting there. I'm going to have to build that up. And the way I'm going to do that is with some florals down here, and that's just going to finish off that point that I've got down here. So I've not got workings on display. It's just a pet thing for me, pet peeve for me. I don't like my workings on display. Probably why I didn't like maths, Miss Taz. They used to have to say I had to show my workings, and I do not like to do so. So I've got my florals sitting there. I've also got an extra floral. So if I want to bring this out and draw it out, I absolutely can. I'm quite happy with it as it is, but I might want to just build some height into those florals or add a little extra at the back to give the idea of layers. And we would do that then if we've raised these with foam tape, we would do this with wet glue. So we would seat it at the back with wet glue, take your pokey, push it down, and make sure that this one is raised high enough on your silicone gel glue to give that point of difference between the front florals and the ones behind. And that'll make more sense for you. Then from here, I'm just going to build out that scene to the other side. So I've got my shells. And I'm going to put one shell at the back, the taller one. It's just going to sit with those the sticks. And I can obviously choose to have it pointed upwards, which is what I'm going to do because I want it to elongate to a corner point. So I'm going to use that first. I'm just going to use my finger here just to push that round. So I shape it a little bit. I don't want loads. I don't want it super protruding. Pop it in just at the back there so you can see where the point comes through, but I want to make sure it's clear that it's a shell, so I'm going to pop another one on top but of a different shape, and I'll just poke that under. Okay, so I've got this idea of shells building up. It will make more sense of what that is with this in front because I've covered the main part of the shell. Just pop that there. And allow that colour to rest on top of the white of the shell underneath it, so it'll start to make more sense. So we've now got a really lovely grounding device, haven't we? Everything is working. So I've got my little pooch here, looking very handsome, I have to say. So I'm going to bring him in and take him, and we can start shaping him out. I'm going to turn him upside down or back to front to start off with. Difficult to tell when we're working on mirrored vignettes. And I'm just going to work his body round first, just so I can see where his hips are and his shoulders. And then I'm going to work his nose from his nose down, and then the other side. And all I'm doing is paying attention to Nick's drawing lines and shading, and that's going to give me a helping hand as I go. Then do that rounded piece for his forehead so it slightly separates. If I wanted to get super technical, I can take the small one, do his eyes, his nose, and his tongue, and then go in just on his ears here, around, so they've got that little bit of shaping. Super important on this one that I take his neck and do this. Now I always do that when I'm doing animals or characters anyway, because it doesn't make sense that they would be in a ball shape, so you do need to get rid of that so that you can create that lovely kind of separation between head and body. But he's going to be wearing an outfit, so if I don't do that, the outfit won't make sense, so I do need to separate the two. So we're going to glue him down. He's obviously going to have silicone gel glue here. He needs to sit forward and be dimensional, so I'm going to put plenty on his head, little bit less on his body. I want his head to protrude more because it would naturally, anatomically. I'm going to pop him just into that sand. His head's going to sit nicely forward with his body slightly further back. You can see the shadow coming from his head, so he's protruding just ever so slightly, but he needs to have a little jumper on because he's having a very nice time. So we're just going to pinch that round. Remember, I have created something that is relatively rounded. So I'm just going to mirror that with this, but I need this to be done with wet glue. It could be done with silicone gel glue, but it'll be too far forward and it'll look slightly odd. So a little bit of wet glue here. Your pokey tool is going to become your best friend because I need to shape this to his body. So just pushing down without disturbing the silicone gel glue underneath. And that's why your pokey tool is so helpful. Make sure that's stuck. Okay, so we're getting there. But he does need one last thing. Because it's a very hot day, he's going to need a little hat. Because he's a very, very handsome, dapper boy. And there we've got just something really super cute. His hat's a bit jaunty, Miss Taz. He's got a jaunty hat. Just move it slightly further over this way. That's better. Look how handsome he is. His little face. I shouldn't laugh. I still cough every time I laugh, Miss Taz. Two gorgeous, gorgeous examples with this beautiful Crafters Select. Nobody does Crafters. Well, I don't actually know anyone who does Crafters Select, but nobody does cards like Carnation. You cannot make a bad card with Carnation, and they're just delightful, aren't they? Get your old collections out and have a look at what you can make and which scenes you've got. Some of the colour of autumn with these dogs is just gorgeous. You're going to be able to really build on those collections just with the addition of these. It sets the imagination alight. We can go on all of these journeys. Where are you going with these dogs? What are they going to be doing? Are they going to be in a car? Are they going to be in the Cinderella carriage? Where are you going with them? 231114 Pampered Pooches on the Carnation Crafts website. $34.99 is the show price for them. That will remain when this goes out to you. Obviously, we're on a pre-record, but this will go out to you at that price. But Carnation will be putting it back to the price it's meant to be once this has gone out, and that will be $39.99. So now's the time to grab it. $2.95 UK P&P. All your artwork and these collections can be found on the Carnation Crafts website, www.carnationcrafts.co.uk. If this goes out to you after Christmas, I really hope you had a wonderful time at Christmas, that you stayed safe, stayed warm, and you had all your family and loved ones around you. I hope you've had a jolly, jolly crafting Christmas. I will be doing the same, I hope, and I will see you on the other side of this festive period when things will be getting back to normal. In the meantime, please take really good care of yourselves. I'll see you soon.